Most people overcomplicate YouTube, but if you just master these 6 core skills, you will dominate 80% of the platform, leaving other people to guess what your secret actually is. You're probably stuck trying to figure out why your YouTube channel isn't growing, why your videos aren't getting clicks, and why your retention graph looks like a ski slope. So in this crash course, I'm going to break down the only 6 skills you need to shortcut your way to real results on YouTube. These are the exact skills I use for my agency clients to get leads, get sales, and book calls consistently. Let's break down each skill, why it matters, and how to actually get good at it. So the first skill that you actually want to master is going to be stealing from competitors, otherwise known as ideation, and you want to find the right type of videos. And so most people waste time making videos that no one actually wants. Like, we call this the random upload trap. So going over to Maro here, what you want to do is start stealing from competitors. And there's some tools you can use for this. And some tools are 1 of 10, vidIQ, and even YouTube, the most popular tab. And we're going to get more into that. But scrolling down a bit, the first thing you want to do is start breaking down your offer or service into 10 steps or 10 pillars. And there are a couple ways you can go about this. So the first thing you can do is actually break down your offer or your service into 8 to 10 distinct steps that they need to go through to get to end results. For example, high-ticket dropshipping, what they have to do is start registering the business, market research, supplier research, building a store, closing suppliers, ads, SEO, CRO, retention marketing, and even hiring and operations. And all of these videos can be turned into one individual idea, or you can also make one monster video with everything combined here and make a 1 hour plus video, course video, right? Or you can even take all of these different steps here, turn them into an idea, right? And then turn it into a bunch of different videos under that idea, right? And so these can be broken down into a ton of different, pretty much videos. And so if I go to the side a bit, you can pretty much see this is how you would exactly how you would put it in ChatGPT, right? So now you already know my offer and service, break it down into 8, 10 distinct steps. You can pretty much have ChatGPT do it for you, and then apply it to your offer, get all the steps that you need. Now, the second way you can go about this, and this way is pretty much you going to be just creating pillars based off your offer or service from your niche. And so what you want to do is create 3 videos per pillar. So let's say you're doing high ticket dropshipping. Of course, we already have this example here. So you would pretty much just come up with everything that you would need in your offer, or that you would actually want to talk about, some pillars that you want to talk about that you want to cover in your niche. So pretty much you would type all of that into here, or you can even ask AI to help you come up with these. And so pretty much with each pillar that you come up with, you can create 3 different video ideas. And that's pretty much 30 videos if you come up with 10 pillars, or 7 months worth of videos if you're posting once every single week. And so at video 30, what you can just do is you can just keep redoing the videos, make it 10% better every single time you redo like the entire 30 videos. You could update it with new info, new case studies, insights, repackage it, etc. And all of these can be turned into one individual, or you can just make a monster video similar to the last one, right? And so when it comes to content ideation, it's fairly simple. So what you want to do is find pillars and subtopics. We just covered that. Step 1 is going to be thinking about the client's goal. What is the client's goal? Is it more sales? Is it a bigger brand? Just take that goal and then build it into different categories. And these categories are going to be action-based content, which is pretty much like how-to content, action-based, education content, which is going to be like why it's important or why they should know X, why they need to do this, right? Educate them on their niche, educate them on why they should change X, etc. 3 is going to be case studies. Go over past client results, or even like client testimonials. Those are 2 bottom of the funnel videos. And the next one is going to be miscellaneous, which is pretty much just any type of video pretty much around your service or offer that doesn't include action-based, educational, or even case studies. Now, step 2, what you want to do is find video ideas and concepts working in other niches and bring them to the client's page, meaning the thumbnails, titles, video style itself, etc. And we're going to actually go into this, into exactly how to do this. Now, step 3 is going to be an example. So for example, if a client is posting a cooking course, what you would want to do is search up, for example, a dropshipping course. And you want to take both the thumbnail concept and the video style and apply it to your niche, right? And so it's pretty much just taking concepts that are working in other niches and taking it over to yours. And that doesn't mean copy them word for word or copy the same icons, the same placement and everything. Of course, you need to tailor everything to your brand, you know, your niche, what your people actually like. For example, if you're targeting, let's say sales reps, what you would want to use is like even like a Cash App logo sometimes, maybe a Stripe logo. What you don't want to use is like a Mercury Bank logo, right? Because they don't know what Mercury Bank is. That's for like SaaS companies. Those are for like bigger companies, right? You wouldn't want to do that. And so obviously tailor everything. Now, step 4 is going to be taking someone else's title framework and then tweaking it so it's 50 characters or less, or at least speaking all the important elements inside the first 50 characters. And this kind of goes into packaging. But if I head over to YouTube here, if I head over to my new channel, click on YouTube Studio, for example, even on this video, I have everything packaged into the first 50 characters. In fact, I believe this video title is 49 seconds long. So these 5 types of videos guarantee clients, right? And so all of the, SEO keywords, all the keywords that are really important are packed into the first 50 characters, because that way it's not going to be cut off on mobile, and you can pretty much see the whole thing on mobile, which is pretty much where most people are, and desktop. So it's extremely important that you do that. Now, step 5, what you want to do is search from a consumer's POV. So for example, if a consumer would be searching up how to scale a coaching program with YouTube, you would want to dumb down your title as much as possible to be really similar to that. Or you can even make it how to scale a coaching program with YouTube, right? You can even make it generalized, but I would obviously make it a bit more specific, maybe add a little bit, be a little unique, mate, right? So dumb it down as much as possible to the way a consumer speaks and make it as searchable as possible. For example, how to get leads for a coaching program through YouTube. Pretty much just an action-based video. How to, okay, get leads, okay, for a niche that you're targeting through, and then mechanism, which in this case would be YouTube, right? And so pretty much you can just take this entire title framework and apply it to your niche. And this works for pretty much anyone, any business, right? And so step 6, what you want to do is, if it's Instagram or short form, what you want to do is search up, for example, crypto. Right? So find the top crypto guys, look at their best performing reels and look at it and see which can you improve in it, right? If it's short form content, what you want to do is think about, can you improve the hook? Did they ramble too much? Can I ramble less? Can you make the wording better, right? And then even if it's for TikTok, you can use a Chrome extension, for example, to sort, TikToks from most popular to least popular. Instagram has this as well. And you can pretty much just use that, try to find the ones that are good, and just pretty much take those concepts and apply it to your brand or your video that you're trying to make, right? So same thing applies to short form platforms as well, not just YouTube. Now here's a tip on YouTube, look for anybody making specific content what you're trying to make, right? Similar to your title. And if you realize that content is old, so what you want to do is just copy and paste your title into the search bar. If you realize that title is old, then there's a gap in the market. So what you want to do is check vidIQ, which if you don't already, it's a keyword SEO tool for YouTube, and it uses AI to check competition, see if the competition is high, if it's high, if it's low, if it's mid, right? And so what you want to do is use that tool. It's free. There's a link in the description if you want that. What you want to do is check vidIQ, and the competition is most likely low because all the videos old, and so the volume is probably decent or high because people might be searching it up. It might be a searchable topic, right? So you might rank for it, and you might fill that gap in the market. So you definitely want to use tools like that as well as be that unique, right? And so that's pretty much the ideation part. Just be unique as well as try to find searchable topics and dumb down the title as much as possible. If I come back to this YouTube video here, you can pretty much see it's something someone would type in. What type of YouTube video would guarantee me YouTube clients? Or not even YouTube clients. What type of videos would guarantee me clients? Okay, here's what I'll do. These 5 types of YouTube videos guarantee clients. I made that directly for the person searching up what type of video will guarantee, or what type of videos will guarantee clients. And not just videos, YouTube videos, right? So very specific with my ICP or who I'm targeting, and they're going to look that up. They're going to see my video, they're going to click it, and they're going to become a client. That's at least the ideal process, right? And so back to the Gamma doc, let's scroll down to skill number 2, which is going to be scripting. So what you want to do is turn your ideas into bingeable content. You don't just do that with coming up with a good idea. You actually do that as well with pretty much scripting, right? The words you use in your videos, it's super important. Scripting isn't just about reading word for word, but it's about structuring for retention. Now, if I scroll down a bit, here's a script outline, and I'm actually going to show you some examples as well. Now, the title, let's talk about the title here. What you want to do is have an attention-grabbing title relevant to your target audience and topic. So here's an example of me actually trying to find a good content idea for something I would post about, right? So I'm targeting people who want to grow with YouTube. So let me find an idea live right here. And I can actually see, if I click on e-commerce up here, I actually see one of my clients here, Jeff here, who we've helped, book multiple calls with YouTube, make thousands of dollars with YouTube within our first few months together. Quick plug, but I didn't expect this, but he's here. So we're obviously doing a good job with SEO, which we're going to get into later in the video. By the way, quick plug here, if you want my team to handle the entire YouTube process for you, the ideation, scripting, editing, thumbnails, SEO, and posting, so all you do is record for 2 hours per week, then click the first link below to book a free strategy call with us. Otherwise, let's just get right back into the video. And so if I scroll down a bit, let's find a video here. So you can pretty much see these outlier scores. This is what vidIQ gives. If I scroll down, you can pretty much see, okay, 13x outlier, the simple way to run Facebook ads in 2025. Okay, let's see. Let me actually copy and paste this title. Let me type it in here. I'm going to actually tailor this for YouTube though. The simple way to, let's see what it said. It said, run Facebook ads in 2025. Let's do scale with YouTube. Scale with YouTube. Actually, let's say get clients to YouTube. The simple way to get clients with YouTube in 2020, let's do 2026 instead of 2025, right? And so we have Ahmed, right? Actually, I live in the same building as him, as well as if I scroll down here, we can see there's not a lot of people actually even with this title framework, right? And so we could pretty much steal this title framework. Okay, boom. Now we have a good title that we want to steal. If I click on e-commerce here, let's find it again. Maybe I won't find it, but either way, you get the gist. Take a video idea and then revamp it, right? And so for example, let's say I want to do this title framework right here, or this thumbnail. What I can do is just, okay, take it, put my headshot in the middle, redo the text at the bottom, unskippable videos, right? Something like that. And in the background, obviously a YouTube logo somewhere, and then revamp all the images and tailor it to what you're trying to offer. For example, if you do e-commerce, you would put something like a Shopify logo, maybe a laptop or phone, and just put like a Shopify like page with like a bunch of money, similar to this video here. So anyhow, let's get into scripting. So back to the Miro board here, we're going to talk about the scripting outline, and I'm going to show you an actual example. This is going to be pretty good. Let's go over the title really quickly. So what you want to do is have an attention grabbing title relevant to your target audience and video topic, right? And so obviously if no one's going to click your video because of the title, they might stop because of the thumbnail, right? But you don't want to just rely on the thumbnail. The title needs to be good and actually display what the video is actually about, make people interested, right? And so you want to have an attention-grabbing title relevant to your target audience and video topic. You also want to make it searchable like a sentence and make it flow, right? And you also want to use one of the video title formats. And we're going to get into that. Actually, if you want to join my newsletter, there's a second link in the description where you can access my free YouTube trainings, and you join my newsletter from there. You're going to get a bunch of different title frameworks. Now, what you want to do is pretty much use that, right? And then make it searchable, of course. You already know if someone's going to search it up, you want to make that a title and make it attention grabbing, right? So now let's talk about the hook of the script. Actually, it's probably be better if I actually go through the actual video, or if I actually go through the actual script example. Now, I'm going to click it. Here's an example script for let's say a client, but I'm going to actually hide the name and everything because I don't want to leak anything and for privacy reasons. Now, this is a really good example here. The script is altered for the sake of the video and privacy. The title of this video that I titled it is going to be "Watch These 12 Minutes If You Want to Build a Web Design Agency, The Truth." And this is a really good title. It's leveraging one of our frameworks. You can take it and apply it to your niche or your videos if you want to. The hook is going to be word for word. We put this in a specific framework. This has to capture people's attention, and it also has to call out your target audience. If you're if you're X who wants to grow or build a web design agency in 2025, then watch this video until the end. That's calling my CP, and that's pretty much getting them hyped up for the video, getting them hyped up for what they're about to watch, right? And so if I come back here, the hook for B2C and B2B are going to be vastly different. So for B2C, you want to quickly introduce yourself, right? You're not going to be one of those guys who pretty much say, have like a 2-minute intro, okay? If you're B2C, it's fine, but like you don't really need an intro that long. Just introduce yourself, talk about what you're going to talk about, use the what, why, how framework, and just get into the video. You don't need that long of an intro, really. And then for B2B, you need to get straight to the point ASAP. These business owners don't have time to watch a 5-minute intro. They want to get straight to the point, which is what I did with this video. All my hooks are probably at least like 10 to 15 seconds, maybe a little more, but they're always under 30 seconds. You'll never catch me with the hook over 30 seconds because I'm targeting other business owners. And of course, you want to make it flow nicely to the body. You don't just want to cut it off like, watch this video until the end. This video is going to be for you, right? You want to make it flow. So if you're going to watch this video until the end, then you're going to benefit from X, right? Make it flow really nicely. And of course, you want to mention social proof if it's relevant, then get right into the body. And always use social proof because that's going to be pretty much credibility. People need to know who you are, what you do, how you can help people, and if you've even helped other people, right? And then you also want to use the framework what, why, how. So what you're going to be talking about, why it's important, and how they're going to benefit from watching the video. What we're going to be talking about today is web design. And why this is important is because X, and how you're going to benefit from this is X, right? And so pretty much just use that framework. Obviously, don't use what, why, how in the actual hook, but you get the gist, you get the point. Now, onto the body. Let's look at the actual example here. What you want to do is use bullet points, right? You don't want to actually put it word for word because then you're not going to be like me where I'm just pretty much going off of bullet points, even with this video here, right? Pretty much you're going to be word for word looking at the script 24/7. Okay, looking here, okay. In the body, let's talk about, oh, I said that on accident. Let's say, so we want to focus on, no, you don't want to do that. What you want to do is have it bullet points, right? So you can expand on them. Most people think about YouTube to be a design genius to start an agency. That's a bullet point right here, right? So what you would want to do is expand on that. Okay, so let me expand on it right now. Most people think you need to be a design genius to start an agency. You don't need to be a design genius to start an agency because X, right? You can pretty much just expand on that, leveraging your knowledge and experience. There's no need to make it word for word because you're not going to sound like your natural self. And of course, you want to pretty much summarize these bullet points and elaborate on it live. And you don't want to put word for word because you sound like a robot, which is just what I said. And now the intermission, pretty much what we want to do here is plug your offer in the first 20 seconds or less. And if I scroll down a bit, you can see we kind of did that here. I obviously cut it off a bit, but what I put is like, by the way, if you're serious about building a web design agency and want to skip the trial and error and phase, then click the first link in the description to book a free strategy call with me. And I made this shorter, of course, but you just want to add an intermission within the 33% mark and at the end of the video, just because the people who click off early, you still want them to be product aware, and pretty much the next video they click on, they can associate that solution with yourself and go into your offer from there. And at the end of the video, you always want to remind them of the CTA again, let them know how they can benefit even more from what you're offering and how you can help them, right? So you always want to have that intermission around the 1/3 mark. And if you have good retention, you can pretty much push it to the 1/2 mark. But I wouldn't risk it and just put it at the 1/3 mark. Unless it's a really short video, I probably wouldn't add it. If it's like a 3-minute video, you probably don't need an intermission. Now, after the intermission, just continue the body, expanding on these bullet points, leveraging your knowledge and experience. That's pretty much going to be the body continued, similar to the body I just explained earlier. And then the outro is going to be pretty simple, just a quick recap of the video, and then letting your audience know one more time, besides the CTA, what you do, how you can help, and to click the link below to book a free call with you, right? And so going back to the Miro here, we want to sell them on watching another video of yours and relate it to the video that they just watched. That's one thing you can do. Another thing you can do is ask for a like, sub, or feedback, but I highly recommend you don't do that, and instead you CTA them to book a call, to maybe fill out your free training applications, maybe to join your newsletter. Just make them do something that's going to get you more value than just like a like or a sub. Because if you can get their email, you can capture them ear to email, and you can pretty much communicate with them on other platforms besides just one, right? The goal is to talk to them everywhere. That way they know about you. They can't get away from you. They're everywhere, right? And then they're going to book a call with you. Then they're going to go into your offer. Then they're going to see you as that go-to authority guy. Oh yeah, I just got a text message from this guy's appointment sitter. Let me go watch his videos. Maybe he posted something new, right? They're going to check YouTube. Oh wait, I just got an email from this guy. Maybe I should just check his YouTube channel. Maybe he posted something, right? Maybe it's something I really need. I'll look it up and I'll go see what he posted. So that's the entire scripting part. Now let's move on to skill number 3, which is going to be the editing. And this one is fairly simple, right? So editing for retention is what you should be doing, not just aesthetics, not only aesthetics, right? And so editing is about pacing, not just fancy effects, retention over aesthetics every single time, especially if you're B2B, right? And so what you want to do here is keep editing clean and supportive. You don't want to have these crazy edits if you're targeting like older business owners, and it gets really in depth. But if you're targeting older people, you don't want to have crazy edits. You want to have simple edits. If you're targeting a younger audience, you want to have pretty much fast editing, You know, Gen Z, they scroll on TikTok all day, so they need crazy editing, right? That's what they need. So the editing should be clean and supportive of who you're trying to target and what you're trying to do in the video, right? Next thing you want to do, retention tactics. Pacing, zooms, captions, graphics, right? You want to add all these different things. Your editor should be able to do this for you, but it's good to know as well. Third thing you want to do is, third thing you want to know is that there are different styles. There's B2B style and there's B2C styles. And I'm going to show you some examples really quickly of some client channels. Now, Jeremy, I'm going to show you Jeremy Miner, and I'm going to show you Jeff, one of my clients who we actually just saw earlier in the lead generation tab. So let's look at this example really quickly, and you're going to see exactly why this video is perfect for B2B targeting.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Jeff here. This video is going to be a full masterclass on how to build high converting landing pages for your DTC brand, specifically Shopify. So I'm going to take you through the entire process of how to do so. If you don't know me,
so you can pretty much see this is pretty clean. It's nothing crazy. It's pretty much targeting the exact audience that he's trying to target. B2B, he called out his audience, right? He's pretty much said what the video is about already. People already know what they're watching, and pretty much this is going to be one of his best performing videos now. And we just made this for him a couple weeks ago, right? And so this is clean, it's targeting his audience, and it's pretty much well structured, right? And so that's B2B. It's not, imagine a B2C audience watching that. They would get bored, they would click off immediately, right? Now, let's look at Jeremy. He is actually targeting sales reps, I believe, which is B2C, because sales reps don't actually own a business, but they're repping other businesses. So let's look at one of his newer videos, or actually, let's click on this one.
today I'm going to go over 3 words, 3 phrases that most salespeople use that cost them deals, and they don't even know that it's costing them deals. Now, why do I say this is important for you? Because I had to learn this the hard way.
So you can pretty much see it started with some crazy editing, like
Today I'm going to
A
go over
B2
three.
a B2B audience wouldn't really need something like this, right? They would probably need something a little more simple, maybe show your face in the first few seconds, but pretty much it could have been crazier. I thought he would do something crazier, but a B2C audience also likes curiosity. Keep in mind how he just blurred everything here. A B2C audience loves to be curious about what's going to happen. A B2B audience is an audience that you need to be very more direct to because they don't like curiosity. They don't like knowing the 3 hidden tactics. Okay. They don't like they care about it, of course. They're gonna watch it, but they don't want things hidden from them. They're more direct, they're more simple. They just want the answer, right? That they just want the answer. Now, a B2C audience wouldn't really care about the answer directly. What they would want is you to give them some curiosity. They're watching for entertainment at that point, right? Either entertainment or they just don't own a business and they just want to learn things, but they don't care about being direct or leaving them too curious. Now, what you want to do with the editing as well is always delegate the task, right? Always delegate editing, always. I don't care if you're a crazy editor. I don't care if you're like insane at editing. What you want to do is delegate that, especially if you're a business owner. If you're not a business owner, then it's completely fine. You can edit your videos. But if you are a business owner, then it's going to be really tough to edit and also do other things in your business, take sales calls, because editing takes a while, right? So respect to all these editors out there because it takes a while and it's a hard task, right? And so you always just want to delegate it, especially if you're a business owner, so you can focus on other things. Now, onto thumbnails. What you want to do for the thumbnails, if I scroll down here, actually quick tip here really quickly, you want to change something every 5 seconds. We call this the 5-second rule, right? So something needs to change visually or audibly. 3 seconds works as well. This is if you're doing some crazy editing. What you want to do is remember your audience, especially if it's a younger audience, is kind of TikTok brain, like they need editing, they need 2x speed, that type of stuff. So what you want to do is add a bunch of visuals and always change things every 3 to 5 seconds, just so your audience stays, aware and they can actually watch the video without getting bored, right? So next one, fourth skill you want to master is thumbnails, getting the click. Thumbnails are 50% of your success. CTR is king. Now scrolling down here, back to the Miro, thumbnails are the #1 click factor, 100%. If someone's scrolling a lot, they're going to see a bunch of different titles. What they will see is a bunch of different thumbnails. And the thumbnails are pictures, and pictures stand out. Colors, your brain, your mind loves colors. And so yours needs to really stand out. And what I love doing with thumbnails is A/B testing, because when you A/B test, you can find what works, what doesn't work, and how you can leverage that for the next video, right? So you want to do this with thumbnails, with titles as well, and we're going to actually get into that a little bit. Now, here's some examples of outlier thumbnails. I'm going to show you side by side, bad ones versus good ones, and I'm going to show you some examples from both Jeff and Jeremy, my client, and then also someone in B2C sales, which is Jeremy Miner, who is not my client. And so let's actually go over here. Let's go in the e-commerce niche, of course, again. Let's look for some outlier videos. So we already have here a 28x outlier, which is pretty good, from David Fogarty. He's really well known in a niche. Keep in mind this thumbnail has no text, which means pretty much it stands out, right? Because every thumbnail has text, but when a thumbnail has no text, it tends to do a lot better, especially if the visuals are really on point. Can I save this failing donut shop, right? It has a dead donut on the left side, him on the left side, him pointing at the dead donut. Then the right side is the good side, right? The right side has a nice looking donut, right? So can you save it? Saved, right? You get it? Because people look at thumbnails left to right. The left side is going to be like kind of the hook, and then the right side is going to be the end result. So that's pretty much what he did here, which is really good. Now let's scroll down to see a not so good thumbnail, right? And there are a couple ones here that don't look that good, and they actually perform pretty decent, like this Chinese factory one. And it's pretty interesting, but it's pretty simple. It's just a scooter and Chinese factories and him working in a factory, which I guess that works. So to find a bad thumbnail, what I usually pretty do is, I don't do this often, but what I would do is press today as search filters, search B2C, and then of course we have Johnny Mao. And if I scroll down, we could pretty much already see a pretty bad one. And so this is obviously like a podcast type of one, but like this could be a lot better. Like the visuals are not that much on point. If I scroll down a bit, we can see this one's pretty raw, which is, we can't really, say anything about that. But if I see this one, for example, LinkedIn mistake, we can't really I mean, it could be a lot visually better, visually improved. Like I can see LinkedIn, I can barely see mistake. The person's looking at the other side, he's not looking at the camera lens. And it's just, there's a lot of things that could be done. And so pretty much you already saw the comparison, right? There's a lot of good thumbnails and then bad thumbnails. You can pretty much tell the two apart. But let me show you the ones between my client and also Jeremy Miner, which they're in different niches, of course. I'm just letting you guys know. So let's actually look at this video here. So if I look them up, so now looking at the thumbnail, if I zoom in here or if I go to details, you can pretty much see this video title is pretty simple. It pretty much has the landing page logo that was actually from the course. It also has these green up and down arrows that are pretty much commonly used in Shopify videos or Shopify thumbnails, sorry, and then it has text relating to the actual video. So full landing page, CRO, workflow, right? Pretty simple, pretty like irrelevant to the actual niche. And we even had a bunch of A/B tests with this. For example, CRO, full CRO guide or full CRO masterclass, things like that. Pretty much you always want to A/B test. And so that's something that would work for B2B, right? It's pretty simple. It's a B2B thumbnail. It's pretty simple. And it pretty much just explains to the audience what the video is about and, what to expect to click on. And it pretty much stands out. Like, I mean, I don't see anyone else with, a thumbnail similar to this with the landing page from the actual video on a laptop in the thumbnail, right? You don't see other people do this. They usually put like some Shopify money and stuff, right? So you don't really see that. Now, going to Jeremy Miner, you can pretty much see he invokes a lot more curiosity in his thumbnails, right? So if I scroll down here a bit, there's a good one I saw earlier. For example, the sending messaging one. Can you send me more info? Say this. Okay, say what? Right? Of course, a B2B video would be like similar to this, but like this one just his thumbnails just invoke a lot more curiosity as well as they just scream B2C because B2B viewers, they want pretty much more simple thumbnails. Like these are pretty simple as well, but even more simple, right? And then this is B2C, right? So it's targeting sales reps, people who don't own a business. And so they want more curiosity. I mean, look at these question marks. That just, screams B2C or just screams curious, like what is this about? Business owners don't like that. They like to be more direct, like more direct language. You can even see in the packaging, he has, really like curiosity driven titles as well. For example, prospects don't buy with logic. They buy to escape this. That's actually pretty good. But if we go to one that's something like you losing sales because you keep doing this, right? It's invoking curiosity. While B2B thumbnails and titles and packaging is a lot more direct. Now, you always want to delegate this task as well. I don't care how good you are at thumbnails. If you're a business owner, you should not be focusing on these tasks. You should be focusing on the tasks that actually move your business forward. And I'm not saying that these don't. I'm just saying that these can be delegated pretty easily. Like someone can rip this thumbnail in like 30 minutes or less, honestly. Now, on to the next one, which is SEO. Let's head over to the Gamma doc again. Pretty much with title and SEO, it's pretty much just about getting discovered. So SEO is the most underrated growth lever, right? And so I'm going to give you some keyword research sauce. So for some tools to do this, or even like some free tools, you have vidIQ, you have the search bar suggestions, right? YouTube search bar, and you also have long tail versus short tail keywords. Now, keywords obviously is different from titles, so we're going to go with vidIQ and search bar suggestions for the titles. Now, we were kind of run over titles when it comes to ideation, but you always want to have the keywords within the first 50 characters, of course. As you already know, if people are searching on mobile or even like desktop, you don't want it to be cut off, as well as you want YouTube to pretty much know what keywords that you want to rank for, because the words used in your title actually help you rank on YouTube, of course. And so you pretty much want to put your keywords in there, but don't do keyword stuffing where it's like a bunch of keywords and the title doesn't make sense. You want it to make sense. You want to use a title framework. Now, for keywords, there's two types of keywords. There's long tail keywords and there's short tail keywords. Now, because I'm on this free course video, which is actually going to become one of his most popular, if I scroll down a bit, you can pretty much see we use a lot of different keywords, right? And so we have, for example, how to build a Shopify product page, right? That's pretty long tail, I'd say. It's pretty specific. It's longer than usual. It's not really basic. It's not how to build a product page. It's not how to build with Shopify or Shopify, something like that, right? It's not that basic. It's kind of longer. And you can see we dominate a lot more of long tail keywords. Now, let's look at short tail, CRO, right? Conversion rate optimization. It's kind of basic, right? We have full course. Okay, that's like full course. Okay. Meta ads, Google ads, e-commerce, Replo, Cloud AI, ChatGPT 5. It's really, really general, right? Those stuff are short tail keywords. Short tail keywords are typically general and really broad, but really short. And they still be ranked with YouTube, right? So that's why we added them. Now, when it comes to long tail, it's obviously a lot more longer and it's very specific. For example, how to build high converting Shopify pages. It's very long, it's very specific. Someone would search this up and they would see his video. That's why he's ranking for it. We also have, let's see, how to build a high converting Shopify store. It's kind of similar to this one, just different wording. Of course, he's ranking for that as well. And of course, we have a lot more like that I can show you, but you can pretty much see the difference between long tail and short tail keywords, and they all play a part. For example, here's some on video optimization that you want to do. The title, the description, the script mentions, the tags, the file name. You can see, for example, even this file name is similar to the actual title of the video, Full Masterclass W, right? So we kind of, obviously it's usually the exact title, but for this one, it's Full Masterclass W. And of course, you want the description to be very similar to as well. So you always want to put the title within like the first, I'd say 200 characters. And so if I scroll down, you can see the title right here of the actual video. Boom, we have the title there in the description, as well as we have a bunch of keywords, in here, whether it's in the chapters, whether it's some hashtags down here, etc. Right? So that's an example of what you want to do. And just these all play a part. Even in your transcript, when you're filming a video and you're saying things, YouTube actually takes that transcript and helps rank you via or using what you're saying in your videos, right? So this is very important stuff. SEO goes more in depth than you think, but just keep all that in mind. Now, the last thing is going to be posting. And pretty much uploading is just a start. You actually want to know how to measure what's actually working. And so if I scroll down or if I scroll in a bit, you can pretty much see what metrics actually matter. And pretty much what I would say what actually matters is watch time on your videos, session retention, and also CTR and conversions. Right, so there's four, I guess you could say. I know this one is probably a little bit different. There's also returning viewers here, but these are the most important. So let me say it again: CTR, watch time, session time, and conversions, right? And so let's go through it. So CTR is going to be click-through rate. So if I go to my previous YouTube video, which is my first one on this channel, I'm trying to grow it from scratch. So the CTR is going to be 2.9%. This is always going to have a gradual drop off. When you first post it, it's going to be super high within the first day, right? And so you can see within the first, you could say kind of first day, 2.4%, or let's just say 3.2%. The first, it's just uploaded, right? And so of course, after this, it's going to naturally fall normally. And that's normal because YouTube, look at the impressions here, is pushing it to a lot more people who wouldn't usually watch you, or people who don't really know who you are, right? It's still relevant, right? But they don't really know who you are. And as YouTube pushes it to a ton of people, your CTR is going to gradually go down like this, right? And so CTR is really important because it tells you if your thumbnail is good. And you always want to A/B test your thumbnails, right? So that's CTR and why it actually matters. Now, the second thing is actually going to be session time. And actually, let's go to watch time. We're going to say watch time. And watch time is going to be pretty much, if we go to engagement, average view duration, how long are people actually viewing your videos? And this doesn't mean everyone's watching this, this short of your video, but it means the average, right? So let's say like 10 people came across my YouTube video, right? And they all watched an average of 1 minute and 2 seconds of a video. So the average is going to be 1 minute and 2 seconds. Similar to here, 34 seconds. Maybe not everyone watched 34 seconds. Maybe someone watched a lot longer, but most people who watched the video today watched 34 seconds. So it's going to be 34 seconds, right? So that's pretty much watch time explained, right? And so watch time is pretty important because it tells YouTube if your video is worth pushing or not, if people are actually watching it, how long are they actually watching the video. Now, session time. Session time is going to be something that isn't tracked in a studio, but it's something that you can control yourself, right? And because session time is going to be how long they're actually on YouTube, their session on YouTube on the actual app because of you. And you can't actually track this yourself, but you can influence this a lot. And this is going to be using cards and it's going to be using end screens. Also, you pushing people to other videos. So cards, for example, click the top right here because I have another video that'll go more in depth on YouTube, right? That's an example right there. Maybe it's on this side, who knows? But either way, that's an example. We also have end screens, right? So if I head over to details, you can see end screen. And of course, you want to always add these end screen elements. And it's going to be you linking another video. And if the actual viewer clicks that video, and watches the whole thing, their session time automatically becomes a lot longer. They watch that video, then they're watching the next video you push them to. Let's say you push them to another video in that other video. They're gonna have a long session time, and YouTube absolutely loves that because they love people who stay on their app, on their platform, right? And then the last one, of course, is going to be pushing people to watch another video, and that's pretty much end screens, of course, but you're just pointing people, CTAing people. Click this video here next if you want to watch, X, something like that, right? So that's going to be session time. And of course, the last one is going to be conversions. You want to know how much money or how many conversions you're making from YouTube, of course, because most people create content, of course, to make money. And if you're not making money from YouTube, well, you can't keep posting, right? So you need some money to keep going. You need some money to keep up the momentum to keep going, right? And so how many conversions are you getting? For example, for me, I have flowsocialhq.com/book a call. That's the first link in the description. And I pretty much track that by asking people either on the call, maybe I can add it as a question during the calendar. Maybe I could put some UTMs. If you don't know how to do that, you can do like UTM underscore source and then equals YouTube. And you can pretty much just play around with that. This is not a video about UTMs, but that's how you track things using Google. And yeah, there's so many ways you can just track the conversions from YouTube videos, even specific ones as well. You can use Hyros. You can use urlgenie.com or .us, something like that, right? To track your link clicks. Even Bitly does this as well. There's a bunch of different softwares like that, but tracking conversions is really good because it tells you if your videos are actually working on making you more money, so you can continue to post the content that people actually watch so they can know, like, and trust you and go into your offer, right? So that's pretty much posting there. Now, how to use analytics to plan your next 4 videos. Of course, these 4 metrics that I just mentioned, you just want to pretty much use them and look for patterns. If one video performed a lot better than this other video here, then you want to pretty much prioritize more videos just like this one, right? Because it's doing a lot better, right? So for example, on my channel, I can't really, tell really quickly. I can't really tell because it's only one video. But as I keep posting videos, I'm going to be able to tell which format does best, which videos, people like the most, what type of thumbnail people like on my channel, what type of editing style, people like watch a lot more because the retention is going to go up, right? That's how you can tell. Just look for patterns. And you want to know how to read a retention graph and spot where you're losing viewers. For example, I just looked up a YouTube retention graph, right? So here's an example here. If I just open this in a new tab, open image, boom, you can pretty much see here's a retention graph. So what you always want to have is at least 50, or I'd say higher, at least 60% of viewers within the first 30 seconds watching, or even as much as possible, right? There's no right number, but you want as much as possible to watch within the first 30 seconds, so you can just know that you kept them hooked, because most likely if they're watching till this point, they're going to watch a little longer and a little longer and a little longer. But of course, there's going to be a natural drop off, and of course, it's going to go down. What you don't want is a huge spike going down within the first 30 seconds. Let's say 5 seconds in, it's pretty flat, and then spike all the way down to like 20% of viewers not watching, they clicking off. That's not a good thing. That's obviously a sign that something happened there. You want to remove that ASAP. Maybe you just want to honestly refilm the hook, then re-upload it, because that means no one likes that part, right? So you want to remove that immediately, especially because it's within the first 30 seconds, which are very crucial for helping people, watch the entire video. And if it's somewhere in the middle of your video, well, then you can note that for next time to change that, maybe to remove that, maybe you could trim it out using the YouTube editor. And pretty much if there's a spike going up, it's most likely because you had an ad and people don't want to watch ads, so they skip that part, right? Or maybe they saw a timestamp of something they really wanted to watch, right? And so that once they go to that part, the spike's going to go up of, them clicking there, and the retention's going to go up a lot there naturally, right? And so there's so many things you can actually look at when it comes to the retention graph. But yeah, pretty much that's how you spot where you're losing viewers, maybe where you're gaining, maybe what's happening in an area is bad or good. Always pay attention to that. And as well as the importance of split testing thumbnails and titles if they're launched, super important. We already spoke about this. You always want to A/B test to see what's working, what isn't working, what you could be doing better, what you could improve on, etc. That's how you get better with YouTube. And so once again, you want to master these 6 skills because this is literally 80% of the YouTube game. Everything else is just noise, literally. Do not focus on the vanity metrics. Don't try to learn everything at once. Just pick one skill, get good at it, and stack the next, right? And so pretty much all these skills you want to master one at a time. You can't master all of them at once. Now, the third thing you want to do is not be perfect. You're not going to be perfect at the start, right? With the thumbnails, of course, we all saw our older videos with horrible thumbnails, horrible titles. We're looking at it like, I can't believe I posted that. But now, of course, you're a lot better, right? You know a lot more. So you can know what to do from now on. So don't try to be perfect because you're naturally going to get better, and you just need to be consistent and keep improving. So just keep that in mind, and I'm sure you do well. So once you master these 6 core skills, you'll understand 80% of YouTube and start being able to get leads, attract qualified buyers, and book calls consistently. So now you have 2 things you can do after watching this video. You can either 1, take all this advice that I gave to you in this video, take all the data, use it for your channel, and try to start booking calls, or you can click the first link below, book a free strategy call with my agency so we can handle the entire YouTube process for you, including the ideation, scripting, editing, thumbnails, SEO, and posting. So all you do is record for 2 hours per month and start booking calls consistently from YouTube. Otherwise, if you're not ready, you can click the second link below to access my free YouTube trainings. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.